Can I take a moment just to kind of talk about how this movie did in the box office? Because this is not far released, like a month or two after. I think 1 month exactly after last week's episode, and we talked last week about it being one of the most forgotten weekends in our show's history.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about how this film was released and received.
I'm interested in this because I was surprised at its performance.
Yeah, me too. This premiered on November 8th, 2011 in Los Angeles, and then had its wide release on November 11th, 2011.
Veterans Day, for all the veterans of the Hellenic Wars.
That is exactly 1 month, because October 12th, 2011 was Three Musketeers. This was distributed internationally by Universal, released nationally by Relativity Media.
Mm-hmm.
That was a production company that was just starting to get off the ground. This blew my mind last week when we talked about this. Here's the information for you to try to wage a guess, okay?
Okay.
Greek mythology, 3D, R-rated. How many theaters do you put that into?
Is it, well, I mean, because knowing that it made a lot of money, is it 2,500 theaters?
It was 3,110.
Jesus, that is taking a big gamble on something that is it's taking a big gamble on something that is not tied to like a big money-making IP. Also, it's taking a big gamble on something made by a guy who previously had only made 2 feature-length movies, one of like The Cell in the year 2000, which was a flop, and then The Fall, which was like critically acclaimed, but it's the movie that your roommate in college tells you to go see. It's not like you get the commemorative popcorn bucket.
Both of those movies, The Fall and The Cell, had pretty quickly established a cult basis and did incredible on home video. And I think that's kind of a key metric to look at, because I pulled an additional thing that we haven't done before on this show, because it's not always available to me. I'll get there in a second. This had an estimated budget of $75 to $80 million. Seemed kind of low for the special effects extravaganza that we get here, especially adding 3D on top of it. And I saw that there was about a $35 million marketing budget, which is not information we usually get.
Yeah, I know. I saw that too. I was like, ooh, Landon's going to love this.
My jaw was on the floor. So I say it's reasonable to say we have a $110 million spending item line here for this here movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it reaches number 1 when it comes out?
I do. I think it must have at least debuted at number 1, right? Maybe? Did it?
You're right. Yes. It debuts at number 1 and stays in the top 10 for 5 weeks. That's pretty impressive to me.
Yeah. How did it how did it track? How long did it take to how did it slip down?
Yeah, it went from 1 to 3 to 7 to 8 to 10.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And it stayed in theaters for 15 weeks. So of its 15 weeks, 1/3 of those were in the top 10. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. What was it up against? What else was out there at that time?
Subscribe to Movie Memory Machine for new forgotten movies every other Friday, available wherever you listen to podcasts.